Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Fitness Goal Friday. Today, we're going to talk about how to be successful with your fitness goals post-January. The goal of the Best You podcast is to allow you to feel confident about what you need to do, why you need to do it, and how to do it in order to get closer and closer to your best you. Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Fitness Goal Friday. Today, I'm going to help all of you guys out who are potentially New Year's resolutioners or potentially people who start with a goal and they start gung-ho and they're super excited about it and then they start to fall off a little bit. Today is going to be talking about how to stay successful with your health and fitness goals post-January. And the reason why I wanted to record a podcast episode on this is because I've talked to numerous people who have a fitness plan in the beginning of January or just a health and fitness plan, fitness and nutrition included, that is what I would deem as kind of like balls to the wall. Like they're going after it. I know a guy who is doing 2-a-days like 4 times a week. He's used to working out. So he's not necessarily going absolutely out of the norm in the sense that he's completely starting a new regimen, but he's doing, instead of working out one time, like 6 days a week, he's working out 6 days a week before the days he's going 2-a-days. And so he's going balls to the wall in January. And I know another person who has struggled with their fitness goals mightily and their nutrition goals mightily. And he's like, Nick, I know you talk about starting small and all these sorts of things, but I just really want to go balls to the wall in January. And then I kind of want to back off after that and be a little bit more realistic. And that's the reason why I'm filming and recording this podcast episode. Because look, so many people want to go balls to the wall. They just like, okay, for the short period of time, I'm going to eat really healthy. For the short period of time, I'm going to exercise my ass off. And that's not a good long-term strategy. However, it's doable to go balls to the wall if you have a game plan to wean yourself off of it. And that's really important. So if you're like January, I want to go 2-a-days, 4 days a week. If you're like January, I'm going to work out 7 times a week, and you feel like that's not going to be harmful to your body, you know, I would say it's harmful to your body to work out 7 times a week. If you currently have been working out 0 times a week, then you're likely to injure yourself. But if you feel like you can go balls to the wall and not injure yourself, then you got to have a game plan for weaning yourself off of that. It's like, okay, I know this is going to be done in January. So on January 31st, I'm going to back it down to 4 times a week. But there has to be a deadline to it. There has to be an endpoint to it. I was talking to somebody else in the gym the other day who was like, I just want to see how shredded I can get. I want to see, I'm implementing more cardio into my routine. I'm getting more strict with my diet because I just want to see how shredded I can get. And I'm like, that's awesome. And his actually worry was that sometimes he can go too far to the extreme of really limiting himself diet-wise and going excessively with his workouts, his cardio, and his lifting to the point where he gets hurt or it's not all that healthy. And so again, it's like, you need a deadline for a period of time that you're going balls to the wall. Because if there's no deadline, then a couple things can happen. One, you can go off the extreme level of continuing it like this guy has the potential to do. He could continually work out, 7 times a week and do a lot of lifting, do a lot of cardio, and severely restrict himself with regards to food. And he could go so far to where he injures himself because he doesn't have a deadline. But also, somebody who does not have a deadline might set the expectation that I'm going to work out 6 times a week and go super healthy and do 2-a-days, 4 times a week. And because they don't have a deadline, they get to a point like, oh man, I just can't do this anymore. And then they go to working out 1 time a week, or they try to do 3 times a week and then maybe it's 1 to 2. So if you don't have a deadline, then you can go one or the other extreme. If you don't have a deadline, and if you don't have a game plan to wean yourself off of it. So it's really important for those of you guys who have health and fitness goals and you're deciding to kind of not take the long-term strategy of setting realistic goals for yourself and doing something that's a little bit over what you've been willing and able to do in the past, then have a game plan for what's the deadline and how are you going to wean yourself off of it. So I have a friend, and some of you guys listening might know the guy who does this, Alex Judd. I've had on my podcast before. He does this thing in January for the last few years called 5 at 5, where he does 5-mile runs, 5 day or maybe 6 days a week. That's what it is. 5-mile runs, 6 days a week throughout January. And that's kind of balls to the wall. Now he works out a ton. And so it's not necessarily quote balls to the wall for him, but there's some people who are doing it, who it is balls to the wall for, but there's a deadline to it. So that's really important. There's a deadline to it. And so you want to have a game plan going into February for that. So that's just an example of like, if you're going balls to the wall, there needs to be a deadline and there needs to be a strategy for weaning yourself off of that, because balls to the wall is not sustainable. And you don't want to leave yourself feeling hopeless by not being able to sustain that level of frequency and that level of performance, that level of balls to the wall-ish, balls to the wall-ness, if you will. So that's kind of just the message for today, guys. That's just the message for today's Fitness Goal Friday is if you're going balls to the wall, have a deadline and come up with a strategy to wean yourself off of that deadline. And that's kind of the same thing with people who do my 10-week transformation is I wouldn't say that anyone who does the 10-week transformation is going, quote, balls to the wall, but I would say that they're spiking, to use my terminology, they are spiking in their health area of their life. They're spiking in their health and fitness. And maybe post 10-week transformation, they don't feel like they want to / need to keep up the same level of optimal habits that they may be established during the 10 weeks. So it's like, okay, that's fine. Maybe during the 10 weeks, you worked out 6 times a week or you worked out 5 times a week, every single week for 10 weeks. And now you only want to work out 4. Then great. Come up with that strategy and know that's what you're going to fall back on. So I would say if you're spiking in your health and fitness right now, come up with a deadline for when you want to finish spiking and determine what managing your health and fitness means after that. I think that's really the biggest thing. Like, I truly believe that we want to be managing all areas of our life at any given point in time, meaning health, personal, career, financial, spiritual, and relational, but we want to be spiking in one of those. And we want to be spiking in one of those for a certain period of time. And we want to define when that ends. And when it ends, we don't just neglect that area. We want to manage it. We want to define what managing means. We want to define what, quote, weaning ourselves off means for that area of our life. So that's the message today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I hope it helps you get closer to your health and fitness goals. If you feel like the 10-week transformation would be for you, I am so excited with the state of the 10-week transformation. I started it back in the beginning of 2019, and it has continued to evolve given the fact that I've had 193 people go through it now and continues to be more and more by the day. And I'm so excited to have people both in Nashville go through it and both virtually, because the virtual program is phenomenal as well. So many people are seeing great results, both with their health and fitness and in the confidence that they have in their own abilities, not only to achieve their health and fitness goals, but their ability to achieve their goals in all areas of their life. Because the discipline that I teach you to achieve your fitness goals is the same discipline that you're going to leverage to achieve your life goals. So if you're interested in the 10-week transformation, then go to nickcarrier.com/10WT. Again, nickcarrier.com/10WT. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Make sure you share it with a friend or family member, especially if that friend or family member is also attacking a health and fitness goal here at the beginning of the year. Make sure you send it to them so that they can set a deadline and come up with a strategy to wean themselves off of maybe the extremes that they might be going with right now. Again, send them this episode and rate it and review it if you liked it. I hope it helps you get closer to your fitness goals, and I hope it helps you get closer and closer to your best you.